dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The Kentucky Horse Racing Commission hopes to see some changes to make the sport safer. A committee of state lawmakers today reviewed new regulations. One of those proposals expands out-of-competition testing and expands the scope of what substances are not allowed. Another is the voided claim rule. It's designed to encourage trainers to run only healthy horses in claims races. Garrett Weimer is in Frankfort.
Consider it a call to action.
We're under a microscope at all times, not just now.
State horse racing officials say they know the industry is being scrutinized right now with too many horse deaths across the country in recent months. But some new regulations hoping to make the sport safer one step at a time have actually been in the works for years now.
If somebody's got an idea another jurisdiction is using something that seems to be working for them, we're going to try it in Kentucky.
For example, several other states have already implemented the voided claim rule. Inside the committee meeting, overall, the changes got some support from folks in the industry.
We know on the out-of-competition testing and the voided claim rule that this hits the most vulnerable part of the horse population in training.
The committee that heard testimony here does not vote to approve or reject the regulations. They simply review them and work with the groups if the rules are deficient. In this case, the chairman told the Horse Racing Commission to watch out for any unintended consequences because others opposed some of the regulations and brought up concerns.
I think we are all for good, strong regulation. The regulation that's being proposed is pretty much straight out of California's handbook. If you're paying any attention in the business, we do not want to follow California.
Officials with the State Horse Racing Commission have told me they know there's more work to do, but they say these are important steps to take. At the Capitol, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
The chairman of the Administrative Regulation Review Subcommittee said today they meet again next month if the commission needs to make any changes to the new rules. Now to some breaking news out of Frankfort. We've just learned Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin has vetoed House Bill 358 and plans to call a special session. That bill would have provided pension relief for state universities and other agencies. We are working to learn more about the veto and special session. Of course, we'll keep you updated on WYMT.com.
Well, while yesterday was a gloomy day, this morning started out a little bit gloomy as well, but that sunshine has returned. Absolutely beautiful blue skies outside right now. You'll notice here on our UVA-wise camera that we saw those clouds a little bit earlier this morning. Very foggy conditions as well. Those cleared out quite nicely, and there's that sunshine that returned. Looking at the Mountain Parkway over in Slade and Powell County, much of the same story. We're seeing actually most of those clouds starting to get out of here, and you'll notice that really on satellite and radar as well, those clouds pushing to the south and to the east as that cold front continues to push through our area, and those clouds are getting out of here as we head into those overnight hours. That's allowed us to get pretty warm for today. We're seeing those low to mid 70s, showing a warm spot in Hazard at 78 degrees, 75 in Williamsburg, and 72 in Jackson and into Moorhead. Those clouds clearing tonight will allow us to get a little bit cooler throughout the overnight hours. Temperatures dropping into the low to mid 40s. Now, will that sunshine continue? We'll talk about that and more coming up in just a little bit. Steve.
All right, thank you, Paige. Nearly 1 million head of cattle lost. That's just a sample of what's happened after major flooding in America's heartland. When news came of donations being needed to send to states like Nebraska, a group in Perry County stepped up. WYMT's Will Puckett has more.
It has been a story we have covered often. When the mountains are called upon, we answer.
We said absolutely. We're always willing to do that.
Laura Hanna and Ava Dixon serve as vice president and president of the Perry County 4-H Teen Council. They were asked by the Kentucky 4-H to help collect donations to help those affected by flooding in the nation's heartland.
Where there were so many flooded, the resources that they have there, everyone's just buying everything out from the stores, so they need things from other places that actually have this supply.
While this flooding happened nearly 1,000 miles from the mountains of eastern Kentucky, the loss of farmland can be felt here at home.
They are part of America's breadbasket, which means they produce some of the staple items that we have in every day.
So these kids from Eastern Kentucky, an area known for its coal production, not agriculture, decided to step up to help those in need.
They help us out by providing a lot of our food, and we just want to have our part and help them back when they face a crisis like this.
So that when we face our own troubles, they will hopefully return the favor. In Perry County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
The group is looking for a handful of items. You can see the full list and drop-off locations on WYMT.com. Western Kentucky University could soon make some big cuts. A committee is proposing the university suspend around 100 programs. It also says WKU should suspend 11 undergraduate degrees, 4 graduate degrees, and 86 other credentials. Some of the affected programs include majors in French and art education and minors in economics, biology, theater, and English. The Board of Regents is expected to vote on the proposal next month. The head of U.S. operations for ARQ that will open in Corbin later this year visited the town this afternoon. C.K. Lane is head of the U.S. operations of ARQ. Lane was invited to speak at the Southern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting. He says ARQ plans to use coal waste and convert it to use in the oil industry. Lane says the plant will produce about 100,000 tons of material a year.
And that is the source that we're using to process to make the hydrocarbons. So the resource was here, and Corbin was the place that we chose to build the first plant.
Lane says they hope to employ 60 to 70 people by the end of this year and hopes to keep the employees long term. Road crews will start work tonight to close the northbound exit 62 ramp on I-75 in Rockcastle County. It's part of the I-75 widening project. It's scheduled to be reopened by Friday morning. Road crews recommend finding a different route to avoid construction. Israelis headed to the polls today to elect a new government in one of the tightest races in years. CBS's Hillary Lane has the latest on Israel's next prime minister.
As polls closed in Israel, the battle between right-wing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and retired military chief Benny Gantz was too close to call. About 40 parties were in the race, but the election came down to 2 rivals with different visions for Israel's future.
And we are maybe the only democracy in this area of the Middle East, so really it's to make a point that we have this day of democracy.
Running for his 4th consecutive term, Netanyahu vowed to maintain control of the disputed West Bank. Charges of corruption clouded his campaign, but he got a boost from his cozy relationship with President Trump, whose support for Israel made him popular with voters there.
We have never had a greater friend than President Trump.
Gantz campaigned as a fresh start.
Let us all wake up for a new dawn, a new history that we need to begin it.
Supporters said he'd be tough on security and scandal-free.
Enough of corruption, enough of considering the government to be your private possession, and it's about time for a change.
Israeli Arabs make up nearly 20% of the population. Many boycotted the election to protest Netanyahu's campaign. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
Back here at home, March saw the highest lottery sales in the Kentucky Lottery's history. Sales last month totaled around $116 million. The previous record was $115.5 million. Leaders with the Kentucky Lottery say high sales of scratch-off tickets helped break the record. People bought about $70 million worth of scratch-off tickets last month. The lottery just celebrated its 30th anniversary. The musical Hamilton is coming to Louisville this summer. You can start buying tickets this week.
I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation.
The performances will be going on at the Kentucky Center June 4th through the 23rd, my birthday. You can get single tickets either on the Kentucky Center's website or in person at the Kentucky Center box office. Tickets start at around $65 before fees. The show is expected to sell out very quickly. I'm sure it will. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, have you noticed that gas prices have gone up recently? We'll tell you why that might be happening.
And temperatures continue to increase, especially as we head into the next couple of days. That also means that sunshine is also going to continue throughout our area. Scattered rain chances, though, return pretty quickly. We'll talk about that and more coming up in just a few short minutes.
And then at 6, hear why the mother of the man accused of killing his 1-year-old child and burning down their trailer is defending her son.